Hello, everyone. Welcome to my Halloween Horror Fest. This year, I am starting early. Yes. For those of you who love a good horror story, tune in. And if you have a story or experience you'd like me to share with everyone, please submit it to the email listed below. Today is going to be my personal experience from my recent trip to Sacramento. This story does have sound effects, and so listen with caution. Mlong ta na ge chỉ sát kiến chỉ san chai na ma, min ju duan ju plin ju ge nyam bo min ba mi ge na ma. Recently, I took a trip out west to the sunny state of California. I have never been to California, and I was quite excited actually. Raising a shaman student brought me to this sunny state, and after I successfully raised my student, she mentioned about how I should go explore Old Sacramento in the downtown plaza, where they also do have some shopping centers. I didn't have a lot of time since it was already mid-afternoon, so on the way back to the hotel, I told my husband to make a visit to the downtown plaza and riverfront walk. We parked in the public parking area, and as I got out of the car, a wave of energy already circulated me. I felt the drift of cold air, and immediately I already asked my guys to shield us. I had to use a restroom, and when we walked to the ground level, the first thing we saw was Macy's. I suggested we go in to use the restroom, and afterwards we could do more exploring. The bathroom was on the ground level by the exit doors, and when I entered the women's bathroom, I was alone. You know those moments where you have to pee so bad that you're literally jumping just to make it to the stall? Yeah, that was me. I did my duty, feeling so relieved afterwards, and as I stood up to pull my pants, the lights flickered off. I could hear my breath in the dark, and I counted to 6 before I heard the bathroom in the stall next to me flush. My heart started to pound, and I shouted out, "Kimmo-sha!" 2 seconds, and the lights flickered on with a loud boom. Slightly annoyed by now, I walked out to wash my hands, and as the water began running, the bathroom stall door where the flushing took place began to creak open. I turned the water off and yelled out, "Kimmo-na-ha! And the moving door stopped halfway, and everything went silent. I wiped my hands, and when I got out, my husband was waiting for me in the hallway. He simply smiled at me and asked, "Ready?" I nodded, and we walked outside where he asked me where I wanted to go. I pointed towards where it said Chinatown. We crossed the street, and the abandoned building stood tall against the azure sky, looking down at me with almost pity-like state. It was completely empty, and I thought, why is this place so quiet? As I took 2 steps down, I heard my spiritual guide's voice shout to me, "Get out of there. You can't go in there. There's too many things down in there, and it's not spiritual you need to be afraid of." And I stopped, and my husband asked, "What? I thought you said you wanted to see this." And I saw this extremely skinny young man with overly greased hair looking up at me, yawning, and I told my husband, "Let's get out of here." And I turned around and we began walking toward a different section. And around the corner of that was another stairway that led down to Chinatown. My husband said to me, "We're here. Let's just go see what's down here." I told him, "No, we don't belong down here. We need to get out. It's not safe." And he said, "It's okay." So we began walking down. It's completely abandoned. There's no sight of anybody around. And then I see this Thai cuisine with the lights on, and there's this big bright red light flickering that says "opened." And I hear some clattering. It's a clattering of empty cans rolling around on the ground. And my husband looked at me and he said, "Let's get out of here." And so we walked up the steps, back across the street, toward Old Sacramento. We crossed through the tunnel right above the Macy's parking lot, and as I entered, a wave of cold air hit me. My hands began to shake, and I could smell raw blood all around me. I heard glass bottles spinning in the corners, laughter and sobbing. My husband asked me, I told him, no, not because of what I can't see, but because people who can harm me actually. We walked up the steep pavement and came out to Old Sacramento. The vintage buildings spoke 1,000 different histories to me, and immediately I was transformed back into time. The energy there was high, and it was hot and cold in some areas for me. We walked past this building, and I heard a very sultry laugh, high-pitched, almost giddy-like. I swung around, wondering where it was coming from, and as I shot my eyes toward the building, I saw a dark shadow of a woman looming in one of the windows. I can make out a shadow-like silhouette of her, limping from window to window, her head thrown back, laughing, but her jaw had been completely ripped out. The sultry laughter came from her, and when I connected gazes with her, the violence she endured and what she thought was throes of passions echoed in my head. I had to turn away, and I kept walking with my husband, who was obviously having a really good time taking photos of everything. Each store that we walked past, when I poked my head in, I could see shadows that moved quickly and quietly in the back of the stores. Those shadows had top hats and big hair, a shadow that came from the past. When we reached the riverfront, the big open water sung out to me a song of sadness and violence, dreams of a new life that came from people who had hopped onto steamboats hoping to have a new life entering the waves of the water and brought me to a dream that they had. And then the gasping of breath as dreams were stolen from them and the world shut them down. The cold needles that penetrated from the arms of the water that swallowed them whole and left their bodies spinning in a public dance. It was only when I returned home that I learned about the town beneath the town. I didn't have enough time to explore the underground city, but I do want to go back and take that tour to see the city buried beneath that. And if you're not faint of heart, I invite you to join me when I do. I would love to see the lost city beneath that and experience it firsthand. But what I did find in Old Sacramento was quite interesting, and I had to cleanse and filter us as we were coming back to the hotel to make sure that nothing followed us home.